Hi, welcome to Dynamite Dating Diaries. This is take two because I was almost done with a 13-minute video and it decided to not process. So I'm going to try again. It's been a while since I've posted, but there's some things on my mind. So I'm going to do a couple videos probably this week. So be watching. One of the videos that I'll be doing this next week is my lifestyle change, and another will be about ghosting. So if you've been curious about that, those are what's coming up. Today, though, we're going to talk about nice guys or nice girls finishing last. So I'm on this Facebook page for singles, and this morning a man posted something in regards to, he's like, I'm a nice guy. I am wondering if I'm worth or going to find a woman. I open doors and I do all the right stuff, but I still seem to be single. So that ensued with a bunch of conversation from men and women, but mostly men, that talked about how you're better off if you don't have a job or a car, or you have a ton of kids with a ton of baby mamas, or you live in your mom and dad's basement, then you probably have a girlfriend. But if you have your life together, then women aren't interested. Which then ensued to women, of course, trying to defend themselves a little bit. A post was generated, though, from that said, do you think that it's attractive, or do you think bad mouthing the opposite sex is attractive or will draw people to you? So people then commented that, well, if it's truth, then it's not really bad mouthing because it's truth. Well, that's where I kind of wanted to get involved, or that's where I started posting and said that truth is a matter of perspective on certain things. That obviously is this person's truth. They've met a ton of women, or a lot of women, or know a lot of women that have chosen the bad guy or the guy that doesn't have it together over the nice guy time and time again for various reasons. So now they believe that that's a true statement. It's might be true for a certain population of people, men and women, but it certainly isn't the entire gender that makes those choices. Now, what I would like to talk about a little bit is that we are naturally conditioned to want things that are bad for us. We tend to want those things. For example, when you walk into a gas station and you see all of the donuts or cinnamon rolls lined up in a row, you look at them and you want them because they look great, they're fresh, they probably smell good, and you know that you want to grab one of them. You have to make a conscious decision. Is this good for me? Should I choose this donut? Which one should I choose? Should I choose the biggest one? Should I choose a small one? Should I just walk away and deny the donut because it's not good for me? It's not going to do anything for me. It's an empty carb, and it may taste good and feel good for a moment, but I'm going to probably feel guilty about it, or maybe even get sick from it. So is it a good choice? No, I'm going to walk away from it. The same is true in relationships. When you walk into a place or you're on a dating app and you see that person and you think, oh, they're good looking, they've got everything that I'm looking for. From that glass case like the donut, they look pretty dang good. But then you realize as you get to know that person or not, that maybe they're not the best choice for you. But you have to make that decision. You have to decide if you're going to walk away from it or if you're going to indulge. That's life. I mean, just like the moth is drawn to the flame or a fly is drawn to light, we want things that are not good for us. We have to make good, positive choices in order to not keep falling into that pattern, because there are consequences. There are things that happen naturally. People become overweight like I used to be. And I still fight the battle of food. Thank goodness I learned from having a toxic relationship that I needed to walk away from. And now my goal is to find that nice guy. But here's the other thing. So many people, men and women, claim to be that nice guy. Whose perspective determines if they're a nice guy? Just because they open a door when you walk through it doesn't mean that they are a nice guy or a nice girl. Like, people's perspective bases the truth off of that. Everyone defines nice guy or nice girl differently. You have to determine what you're looking for so that you can find that in a person, not so much a title or by something or someone that claims to be such and such. Actions speak louder than words. Generalized statements are not easy. I mean, just like men say women just want the bad boys, women can say that men just want sex, and anybody can claim to be a good person or a good guy or a good girl. So people, though, tend to be stuck in toxic relationships or continue to have a pattern of doing things that they know are wrong or bad for them. There's a few reasons that they do that. First, I would say that maybe they don't value their worth. They don't feel like they're good enough or they deserve better. Or maybe they feel like this is really an amazing person and that if they were able to help them, they would become this great person, kind of like a rescuer. Like, let me just help them out and they're going to be the best person, like I know that they are. There's also a comfort in knowing that this person, if you have been in a relationship with them and you leave them because of horrible things that they've done and you come back to them, they know you, they know what you like, they know what to say, they know how to lure you back in. Some people fear being alone or fear financial freedom, that they don't think that they can afford to live on their own. And so they're kind of stuck in this toxic relationship to make ends meet. The other reasons people tend to stay with them is they make them like a superhero or idolize them. Maybe you want a challenge and they feel like they're challenging or unpredictable. They crave that excitement. Another thing that's really common is that when the bad times come or when there's a bad night or say the person gets drunk and says mean things to you, that the next day you recall the good times and you tend to forget about the bad times or the negative things that have been said to you. Some people get addicted to their love. They find a high in when it's the good times and they crave for those good times that they totally block out the bad times. I think that this is true for both men and women. I found myself in a toxic relationship for a time and had to really examine why I had made that choice. And when I walked away from that relationship, I totally cut it off. But I will say that I was in that relationship, I ended it, and then I ended back up in it again. And when I ended it that last time 3 years ago, I chose to cut all ties. That person did not know how to reach me. They did not know my phone number. They did not know where I was living, so that I could be sure that I would not be tempted by that donut in the window, that relationship was final and over, and that I would learn from it. I did and still do go to therapy. And I know that I've grown so much in the last 3 years, learning from the mistakes that I made in my marriage for almost 15 years to the mistakes that I made in the toxic relationship and the choices that I made to be in that relationship. So I think that we all tend to have to live and learn a little bit. I also know men who choose to be with women that are not good for them. So it goes both ways, both genders. I recently, the last few months, I met a guy that was a really great guy. I would label him as a nice guy, but he was still emotionally involved with another woman that was not good for him. And even though she had broken off with him, he still wanted her back. He still longed for her attention. So it's not just women that crave that bad boy, but sometimes men too. We want what is bad for us. And we have to come to a point in our life where we make the determination that enough is enough and that I'm not going to choose a relationship that's bad for me. And if I see signs of that, I'm going to walk away. Positivity is the key. Now, the question posed of is, bad mouthing or trashing another gender attractive? Well, of course not. You put out what you draw what you put out. So if you're putting out negativity, you're going to only draw negativity toward you. Be positive. Recognize that we're all human, that we all have our bad days. We all have our days where we're frustrated with being out in the dating world or being let down because someone didn't show up or whatever. But does it help to really badmouth on social media an entire gender because of one person or because of a handful of people? Not really. It is interesting, though, to see different perspectives, and it does help one realize those that may still be hurt or bitter or struggling with a past relationship that perhaps they're not ready to move on, or maybe they've just decided they're not really looking for a relationship anymore. That is all our choice. So somebody put on the messages that, when I said truth is truth and it's your perspective and that your truth may not be everybody's truth and that obviously my truths were different from my experiences versus a man's experiences. And this person said, well, like pit bulls are bad and that's a truth. And just like, pit bulls are dangerous and everybody knows that. And I was like, well, here's the deal. If women are a dangerous breed, pit bulls or other dogs are known to be a dangerous breed. But they're a breed of dog that has a history of hurting others. But still, that doesn't keep people from wanting them. People still love pit bulls or other dogs that have this history. And everybody always says it comes down to how the dog is raised. If they've been treated with respect and love, then they tend to be great dogs. Just like people. If women or men are deemed bad, treat them with dignity and respect. Not all of us or all genders in general are bad. We all have our past and we can choose how we live moving forward. So bottom line, be positive. Make good choices. Recognize that there is a choice in front of you. You can walk away from it. You can choose to not do things or make choices that you know are bad for you. Or you can live through those experiences, grow from them, and move forward. That is my message today. I wish all of you the best, and I will be back later this week. Thank you. Oh, remember to hit subscribe and like and share with your friends.